Oh, what the hell. Hello and welcome back to a different type of video for the GorillaBiker. I am on a 0DS and I cannot tell you how weird this is. I was in at Franklin Motorcycles in Swords. This is so weird. But basically, I'm taking out of 0DS today with them to test ride, and it is the weirdest thing so far ever. I don't have a clutch. My left foot doesn't know what to do. This is so strange. But I'm really liking this. So, okay, let's try. Let's see, can I get anything out here, right? Essentially, right, the 0DS is kind of like, it's an A2 offering from Zero electric motorbikes. It has a peak torque of 110 Newton meters. And then, what we also have is a peak power of, I think it's like 46 kilowatts. It's A2 because its continuous power is like 24 kilowatts. Now, I don't know is that by design, but if it was by design, it was bloody smart. Just purely because, you know, that means it's an A2 offering. I know the combined EU official range for these is 170 kilometers. So that's combined. But to be honest, I see what these bikes to be good for myself because it's so small as well. Not small. I'm actually quite comfortable and it's narrow. It'd be perfect for kind of city driving, especially with the eco on and regenerative braking. So you can see here now at the traffic lights, once this is pressed down and the key is on, I just go. That's it. There's no fiddling. It's on. It's ready to go. You know, it's really weird. I'm going to leave it in eco for the first part of the video because I can get used to it. Because I've never ever ridden an electric bike before in my life. But this is cool. You know, the bars are comfortable. The brakes are really good. I really like the brakes. I can actually see with the mirrors, which is nice. But yeah, so this has Showa front forks. It also has a Showa rear piston suspension. It is one single, am I correct? Yeah, single 320mm disc up front with the dual piston caliper. It has plenty of braking power. When we get kind of into a bit of free space, I'll try to do a brake test. So where we're riding is just out towards Port Marnock, quite a distance away from my usual haunts. I think everyone's biggest concern with electric bikes is their range. Now, I think it's, I said it myself in a previous video, I don't think that's overly fair because I think these are more a commuter than anything else, you know. Genuinely, anything that can only do a certain range and takes X amount of time to charge, it's a commuter. So the other thing to consider with this, right, is and I'm going to do everything as standard, okay? I'm going to imagine I own this in my own house. I do not have access to a fast charger or anything else. But granted, this might not work for me as my all-the-time bike, because for instance, in the last 12 hours, probably 14 hours, I've done over 300 kilometers just riding up here. Okay, so that's not enough time because to 100% charge off a standard charger is 9 hours, right? But also to remember, the rating for the distance, it's a combined average. So most of my riding in the last 2 days as well has been on motorways, so it's been fast. The only thing I'll say in eco from a stop, like that is me, I'm twisting that the whole way. So eco, I don't think eco is suitable for, you know, getting away from traffic. Oh, there we go. Sport mode. That's more what a bike should feel like. Ooh, I like sport mode. But let's get into usual review stuff, right? So I'm gonna start off with ergonomics because this is also partially a tall person review. I am comfortable. The pegs are comfy, my knee angle is comfy, so the seat height of 800 plus millimeters is comfy. The seat itself, kinda hard. The seat possibly could do with a bit of softening, but it's in a comfy position. I'm not riding up onto the tank, and the bars are really comfortable. Like this is grand. So getting going from stopped in sport feels a lot more like a normal bike would feel. So now let's talk a bit about power, since I was in it, in power mode. Power is good. Power feels really, really nice. The delivery is kind of insane. I know, like everyone, it's a bit of a cliche. Everyone's like, oh, well, the power delivery in electric bikes is instant. But it's instant. It's, you know, like I was leaning forward there. This thing probably would have brought up the front wheel if I'd let it. But it's not my bike, so I'm not going to do that. But just to finish up on ergonomics, it's comfortable, right? And another thing about ergonomics that I think a lot of people forget about is how it feels braking and on the road. So on the road, it feels steady, sturdy out. Braking, it's nice and comfortable. I can one finger brake nicely in traffic. I can operate off the rear brake comfortably as well. No problem. We'll do a little stand up here now to test out standing on these pegs. Oh, standing is lovely. Nice wide pegs to stand on. Far more comfortable than the Phaser, to be honest. See how she does speed bumps. The suspension's really, really good. Now I know that's probably because it's actually not a heavy bike. This one, because it's a small, lighter commuter slash baby ADV type thing, it's only like 180 something kilograms. The one thing I will say is I was concerned that, you know, I'd get on one of these and I'd be like, I don't like this at all. But I actually do. Would I have one of these? Absolutely. I mean, I really, really would. And to finish ergonomics then, so we went through ride height, me being comfortable on it, which I am. We went through the suspension and the feel on the road. The other thing then is the controls. How are the controls? I like them. Straight off the bat, they're nice. The throttle modulation is weird on Eco. I would prefer if this was a bit more, like even here, right, this is sport and this is me barely on it, a little bit more, and then you have to really go for it to get the power. Now I'm sure that's fine for most people, but I've hurt both my wrists in the past, and that's something that would affect me. So if you do have kind of injuries like that, it's something to be aware of. But the brake, nice position, 2 finger or 4 finger. 4 fingers actually kind of difficult, but 3 finger is plenty. And anyway, I use 1 most of the time, and 1 on these brakes is loads. Controls, very easy to get to. They're all there, so you even have your pass lights, your full beams are nice. Start, stop, and mode, easy to get to. The only thing about mode is if you're moving, you kind of have to do this. That's my only... I would rather mode was more here. There would be perfect. So ergonomics for me on this bike, very, very good. Very, very happy with it. And even, to be honest, right, as a moto vlogger, how quiet this bike is, I both don't like it and I also like it. You know what I mean? Would it be nicer to have engine noise? Yeah, but like, I can hear myself think. On the Magna, sometimes hearing oneself think is difficult. So that's ergonomics. Let's move on to the power. As I said earlier in the video, probably, it's 110 Newton meters of torque. That's peak torque. And it's also peak power is 46 kilowatts. Thereabouts. But its continuous power is like 24.5 kilowatts. That's its continuous power rating. And we're past the bus. So that's its continuous power rating. How does the power delivery feel in sport? Excellent. In eco, I'm not mad on it. That said, right, the power delivery, it's perfect for this. This is the type of riding this bike should be doing, in my opinion. In and around, you know, towns and stuff. That's what it's made for. It's essentially a commuter. So also, the power in traffic is lovely. The way the power is delivered, right, it's really easy for me to just keep my feet up and, you know, tip at it. I don't need to worry about too much, you know, I don't have to, you know, feather the throttle, anything like that. It's just go. I haven't put my feet down once, which is really, it's kind of different, you know, like, not that I mind putting my feet down and not that I mind feathering the throttle, but this is a nice experience, and it's really odd the way the electric motor spins up, you know. It's like something out of Star Wars, which has its own appeal as well, I suppose. Not as much as, you know, say a V4 Magna has appeal, but it has appeal. With that, is there enough power on this bike? There's plenty. For this bike, this is plenty of power. There's, you know, it's thin wheels, the way it's designed, it doesn't need more power, which is, I feel strange saying that, because I like power, but like, that'd pull the arms off you when you go for it. It is very strange not having a clutch though. For wheelies that I definitely never do, it's weird not having a clutch. That's power. So for me, for this bike, how does it feel? Plenty of power. So then we're going to go on to aesthetics, and I like the look of it. This might prove an unpopular opinion. I know some people don't like how they look, but I like how it looks. We'll continue with that when we step off the bike and do a walk around, but aesthetically from here, this is a nice place to be. It's lovely. It's actually lovely to look at. I would have no complaints about it whatsoever. Now we're going to talk about handling, and it handles great. So suspension wise, it's just really well balanced. Don't kill me please, thank you. It's really, really well balanced. Like, I'm leaning that, no problem. It's really flickable. It's just, this is really nice. I'll be honest, this is one of the best handling bikes I've ever ridden. It's just, like, other than sport bikes, you know, I have ridden my share of sport bikes, and obviously, you know, they're a different matter entirely. So back to what I said about the brakes earlier. The brakes are really good. They're really reactive. It does help that you can see from factory they're braided steel lines. So, you know, you get that instant reaction like I do now on my Phaser and Magna, since I fitted my own braided steel lines. Yeah, I have to say I really, really like how this one reacts. On brakes, on turn-in is excellent. You can lean it. It doesn't feel like you're going to lose it. It's really well balanced. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. And then we're going to talk about practicality. And this is the one that I feel is going to hit this bike a bit in the soul, in its heart. Is it practical? It depends on the person, okay? And for me, because I'm the one reviewing it, I'm going to say no, this would not be a practical purchase because it's expensive. One of these regular ones without the power tank options, or I don't think you can get the power tank on this one. There's an extra option on one of these anyway, but it's about €15,000. That is a lot of money for a bike that needs to charge for 9 hours at home so you can go again. Like, would this be perfect for me getting in and out to work? Oh, I'd love one. Getting in and out to work because of the power. You could have a lot of fun on this going in and out to work. So we're going to do a brake test. I think we're okay, which I didn't get to do earlier. So we'll work it up and brake. That stops amazingly well. I have become distracted again. So practicality. Is it practical for me? No, because it just doesn't have enough range. Is it practical for someone who, say, lives in Dublin and commutes, you know, on a daily basis, maybe 60 kilometers, 70, 80, 90, even 100 kilometers? Yeah, it's definitely practical for them because it's really, really cheap to essentially fill the tank on this thing. So if we say, we'll be kind, right? We'll be kind and say this does 200 kilometers to a tank in a city. That takes 9 hours to charge, and it's around about €3 to charge it at home, right? Now, if you were to work that out with a kind of a petrol equivalent, which Zero have happily done for us on their website, and I looked into this, and they're not completely wrong. They're being kind to themselves, but they're not completely wrong. So we'll say it's about €3 to charge it, and that's the equivalent of like 1.2 litres per 100 kilometers. Okay, which again, well, it's fair. It's a fair call, right? So we'll run with that, and we'll say, yeah, fair enough. We got you, Zero. That means then that this does around about 200 mpg, whatever, US or Imperial. There's a difference. One is 250, one is 200ish. But even it's 200 plus mpg. 200 plus. That's insane. That's mental. So it's like it's 1.2 liters per 100. If someone said to me, you know, here, have a relatively boring machine to go to work, and it's 1.2 liters per 100 kilometers, I'd bite their hands off. I'd be like, just give that to me, and give it to me now, and let me keep it forever, because I'm essentially not spending money to go in and out of work. Oh, it's fast though. Oh yeah, it's quick. It's really quick. Oh, I enjoyed that. That is such a strange feeling. With that, you know, that's what I did there. Was 50 kilometers an hour. But the max speed, the max sustained speed of this bike is 130. The max speed of this bike is 170. So like you get a peak speed of 170. So if you're just doing a pull, and then you get limited by the heat of the battery. You have to let that cool back down. But it's continuous output. So the same as its continuous power output being, I don't know, whatever it was, 24, 25. The continuous max speed is 130. So if you're on a motorway with this, you could keep up with motorway speeds. So practicality, as a round off, is it practical? Yeah, it's a nice small bike. It has a big old holder there, I'll show you when we get off as well. It's just too expensive for me, and the range is too short for me. But like, if you're tall, it's comfortable. If you're small, it's definitely going to be more comfortable, because you know your legs are just going to be more straight. But like, I really can't fault it, to be honest. It's a really nice bike. Overall, like, I'll stop and do a walk around, but I'm going to say while we're on the bike, overall I am insanely impressed with this thing. Do I miss the engine? You know, do I miss an engine? Yes. Do I miss a clutch? Yes. Do I miss gears? Also yes. But if this is the future of bikes, if this is what we're going to have to live with, yeah, it could be worse, couldn't it? The only other thing I would be interested to see is what they're going to do about sound on this, because it's one thing actually, one of the guys in Franklin warned me before I took this out, was how quiet this bike is. And already, I'd say maybe 3-4 times there's been people who went across the road as I've been approaching, just because they don't hear the bike. Pure and simple, they're not hearing the bike. So, now we finally get to do a walk around with the bike, with loads of people watching, so this is new for me. As you can see, it's not a bad looking bike. I really like the Showa inverted front forks. I have to say, they're really cool. The front disc looks good as well, the big 320mm. It's actually a single 240mm on the back, which is also very nice. Single piston, dual piston on the front. I really like the brake fluid reservoirs. They're fancy, very, very nice. It's all braided brake lines as well, which is really cool. Those pedals are very comfortable. I mean, overall, the design is simple. And you can also see then you got your big Showa rear piston. It's belt drive. That's the charger plug. That should probably be in. And there's your big electric motor. So, belt driven. It's really nice. I like the colour. I like everything else about it. So, let's have a look at the storage. So that's really good. Like, you could fit your mobile phone, everything else in there that you could possibly want to fit in. There's not much to it. It's a simple looking bike, but I really, really like it. And Pirelli's on it. And those tyres are really grippy. I had fun on them, even though they're semi-knobblies. So yeah, overall, I'm going to take some pictures as well to add to this. But overall, my opinion on the bike is it's fantastic. I'm being honest. Like, ergonomically, it's comfortable. Power, it has loads of power, oodles of it for a bike its size. Its torque is fantastic. I really enjoyed the torque. Practicality, it is practical but expensive if you live in a city. The handling is excellent. Aesthetically, I really like it. I really like the simple look that it has. Like, genuinely, I'm just impressed by it overall. The feel, I was always concerned about the feel of an electric bike. I'm not anymore. Like I said, if this is where we have to go with bikes, we're not going too bad a direction. Is it better than a dirty old carbureted V4? No, it's not. But it's, you know, it's not too bad. It's something that I could live with. And if I could have one of these for work, I would buy one. If I had enough money, I'd buy one, because, you know, you're going to have it a long time. There's a 5-year warranty on the battery, as you can see there, and it has a 2-year standard motorbike warranty then as well. So, a really good bike. I can't say anything else. And from a tall person perspective, because that's where I kind of started off with all this, it's very comfortable. If you've watched, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you have enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more like this. If you don't already, make sure you go follow Franklin Motorcycles on Instagram, because they were nice enough to let me take this out for the day. So definitely hit them up. If you want to test ride this bike yourself, let them know, and if you want to buy it, let them know. So I'm not sure how many of these I have for sale, but this one's there. So thanks for watching, and until next time, Adios. I don't know will you picked me up, but this thing also does not get hot in traffic, which is amazing. I really like this bike. You can hear the ticking. What?